Okay, Joe Leigh here, Seconds Out with Ben Shalom. Ben, that press conference here, of course, Shields Marshall. It's finally announced, but let's talk on the press conference. That was exciting.
It was what I expected, to be honest, but yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you can feel the tension. The gloves were off yesterday. Unbelievable. I think no one wants to show a chink in their armour. Everyone's a bit uptight, but it makes for incredible viewing, and I'm so glad that it's happening because there's so much on the line. Both of them are doing it. It's taken a long time. It's taken 12 months to make this fight happen, and all the promoters and the managers have put differences aside. It's been made. So excited.
You mentioned up on the presser a couple of times, 10 years in the making, legacy, because of that backstory, and you can tell Claressa is a little bit, still it gets to her that she lost to Savannah in the amateurs.
It has to, when you've got 64 wins in the amateurs and 1 loss, and 12 wins in the pros and all wins. You're always going to look at that, and you're always going to want to correct it. But Savannah's actually a different fighter to the one that beat Claressa. Savannah's a lot better now. Incredible fighter, incredible boxer, improved so much under Peter. Everyone's talking about how she can knock people out. She's got one of the best boxing IQs in women's boxing. Incredible. So they're both going to come. They've got so much heart. I can see it going probably the distance, unless Savannah can pull something out the bag. But Claressa can take a lot, and I feel like it's just so hard to call. But that loss they were both different fighters then. I don't think you can read too much into it.
On a personal note, what's it mean to you? Obviously, you wanted to make this fight for a while, but just being on the stage, obviously, you've been on these kind of stages before now, but for this kind of fight?
Yeah, this is the best one. Like this, Calmbrook was incredible for me, and Taylor Cattrall was brilliant as well. But this one, because we've been so involved, Savannah headlined for the first time with us. When she knocked out Lolita Mazea, that was her first time headlining a show, and it was amazing for her. I remember looking at her, and it was almost overwhelming. Since then, she's headlined another one, knocked out Famke Hermanson, just looks like a superstar, has become the most popular female fighter, I think, in England. And now she's ready for this stage. I think a year ago she wasn't ready for this. She wasn't ready for an event that attracts this much media attention, headlining the O2. And but she's ready now, and Claressa's fought with us as well. So to have been promoting them both over the past 12 months, and then for it to come off, yeah, it's big. It's big.
Why is it happening in London at the O2?
I think I would have loved it in Newcastle. Savannah had a slight injury before, so it got delayed, which made it difficult. And then in the end, the international interest was so big in this fight. US, UK, a lot of people travelling in for it. It felt like it was only right that it happens at the O2. We're going to have a historic undercard as well. In the end, yes, it would have been great to have it in Newcastle, but I think the O2 is the right place for this. It really is that big a fight, and it's got the best home.
How likely is it that you think it sells out?
Look, it's a first. I think it 100% sells out, but I think it's a different price point. I think it's a different audience. I think this is women's boxing is very, very young, but this is the biggest fight that you can get. And this is the best story that you can get. It's got the best chief of support that you can believe. I think a lot of people thought this would be the first women's box office event, and it's not. So it's got everything, and I think it's going to be a landmark moment for boxing. Never mind women's boxing, for boxing in the sense that for a long time people have been intimidated by going to shows or watching boxing. I mean, for us, we love it, but I think that's always been a hard thing for boxing to attract the best brands, to attract the biggest broadcasters. I think this event changes everything. I think people are going to see boxing in a brand new light and at an elite level with a story to go with. It's a dream. It's a promoter's dream. You could not ask for anything more in a fight than Shields Marshall.
One thing Peter Fury mentioned, which was I kind of agreed with, it's almost like a heavyweight fight. He wasn't knocking Taylor Serrano, but with that in mind, this, I guess, in itself is bigger because of the fact that heavyweight division's always kind of that superstar division in boxing.
Exactly that. I think it's that knockout element. It's that punch power. It's Savannah is for the pound for pound biggest puncher in female boxing, and we now get to see it. And it is like the heavyweight division. This is the division where we're going to see explosive punching boxers. With women's boxing in the lighter weights, I think for me, I love it. I think people struggle sometimes to get into it because the story's not there. The explosive knockouts aren't there. This has it. This is the best advert for women's boxing there can be. I think it's going to open doors for so many others. And yeah, it is the heavyweight division of the sport.
Liam Smith. I didn't expect it, but that's a really good signing for.
Massive signing. Look, it's been well documented. We went and signed the amateurs. That was our focus, the Olympians and the younger stars and the stars of the future. Now we feel like we're getting to the point where headliners want to be with us as well. They're seeing what's going on. And Liam Smith, massive name, coming off 2 big wins. I think he's coming into the prime of his career for me. This is the best Liam Smith that we've ever seen, that we've ever had. Huge, obviously, name in Liverpool. We expect some big nights there. I love the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. I think that's absolutely massive. That seems like the one that everyone is wanting. But he wants to win world titles as well. He feels like he's in his prime. He felt like he's had a good relationship with Sky, and he wanted to end his career on Sky in some big nights, and there will be some big nights with Liam Smith.
Could you see that? Would you make it? Obviously, you'd like to make it, but is that a potential fight, Chris Eubank Jr., Liam Smith?
Yeah, 100%. I think we saw when we signed him, it's the one that fans all want to see. They want to call for it. I think they feel like it's potentially a genuine 50-50 fight. Liam Smith has one of the highest boxing IQs in the sport, incredibly smart boxer, unbelievable to watch. I think it's a huge fight in the UK, and that's all. I know Liam Smith wants it.
Have you got any other big signings coming up?
Hoping so. Obviously, next few weeks we're hoping so. Obviously, we're working hard. We've had headliners come across in the past couple of weeks, so it's been exciting. We expect a couple more, and we just keep working. And the shows are coming thick and fast. Obviously, July 30th with Bill and Smith Chamberlain. That's looking like a massive card. Ben Whittaker will make his pro debut. I expect his trajectory to almost be like Adam Azim's. He's that good. He's going to start at 6 rounds in a competitive fight. Fraser Clark back on that card, which is good to see him. Caroline Dubois. September 3rd, hope to have a show in Liverpool, and then September 10th for this one. So it's coming thick and fast, and we want the right fighters. We want fighters that have room for us to take on a level and room for us to grow on the platform, and that's the type of fighters we're looking for.
Just quickly on the AJ Usyk politics, not the ins and outs, but just as a promoter who promotes on Sky Sports, it's good if the fight is on Sky Sports, the Usyk rematch.
It would be unbelievable. Massive fan of AJ. Everything, working so closely with Sky, and yeah, it'd be great. But it's a great fight wherever it goes. I can't wait for that fight. I think a lot of people can't wait for that fight, and yeah, wherever it goes, that's a massive fight, and I'll be watching.
It must be frustrating for DAZN.
What do you mean frustrating?
It must be frustrating for DAZN. They've obviously signed AJ on the long-term deal, but the first fight isn't on DAZN. If it isn't.
I don't think
in the UK.
I don't think it's been decided. I don't think. Who said that?
No, I was just saying if the fight is on Sky, obviously there's so much politics at the moment. It would be frustrating for the first fight in the UK not to be on DAZN.
Look, DAZN have plenty of great fights and plenty of great fighters. So I'm not sure. I think they'll carry on and do great things as they have done this year. Some amazing fights on DAZN. Taylor Serrano that's in my mind because we're here at Shields Marshall. What an incredible promotion that was, and I think there'll be more great fights on DAZN.
Just want to touch on while we're on heavyweights, Deontay Wilder. Is he someone? I know Adam Smith was like in an interview. He was like, Deontay, come back to the UK. We'd love to have you on Sky, etc., etc. That would be a great sign. Have you thought about that?
Deontay Wilder's with not with us. I think he's with Shelley Finkel and PBC.
But would you think about having him on Sky, bring him over here for a fight, whether it's Dillian or whatever?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, it's great to have him back in the division, and he's going to be in some monster fights, and hopefully Sky can be involved. Joseph Barker would love to fight Deontay Wilder. Dillian Whyte, I'm sure, would love to fight Deontay Wilder. It's great to have him back in the mix, and I think we're going to start seeing big. Sky is a monster platform. The US fighters love to be on Sky. It has a massive influence globally. Clarissa's delighted to be on it as well, and I expect some big fights to be made in the next six months.
Brilliant. Just quickly, Ricky Hatton, update on that fight.
Yeah, very soon. Hughie Fury is now ready to go. it's a WBA final eliminator. The winner will fight Dubois unless he vacates. We've been assured of that by the WBA, so it's a massive night for Michael Hunter and Hughie Fury. A lot of people can't call that one. It was a shame it got postponed. Hughie genuinely had something fairly serious. Michael understood. Ricky understood. And we hope for a big night in Manchester very soon.
Thanks so much, Ben. Nice one, bro. Thanks.